good evening, and welcome to this Tuesday edition of Bermuda Referee Corner here on islandstats.com. I'm joined by youth referee, Mr. Shaquille Pitcher. Good afternoon, or good evening, sir. How are you?
Evening, I'm good.
Good. Well, obviously, we are into the season. More than likely, that will kind of come to a halt with the new government rules that have come into play. But how has the season been for you thus far, officiating?
The season has been good. Started off like with the U13 games. That was running smooth at BFE, 6:30 and 8 o'clock, and then we started on the actual youth games from students under 7s to under 11s. I have U9s and U11s and U13. So it's been running smooth, I could see. Yeah.
You find that you got into the groove kind of quickly, because this is not your first year doing it, is it?
No, this isn't my first year, and I think I did get in pretty fast.
Okay. We're going to be joined by Omari Majors. Good evening, Omari. How you doing?
Evening. I'm good.
Good. Well, again, I was telling Shaquille we're into the season, but it looks like that may end up coming to a halt with the outbreak of the coronavirus. But how have things been for you thus far? I know you got right into the swing of things in September, and has been going strong. So how have things been for you?
I would say they've been good. It's like it started off almost like a regular season, but with the COVID restrictions, like not shaking the hands of players, showing respect that way, and then yeah, it was a different transition, but you got used to it after 1 or 2 games.
Shaquille, for the youngsters, the under 7s, the under 9s, and the like, how do you think they have been adjusting to all the new restrictions? Because sometimes these kids don't really, they just want to play.
Yeah, I think that the first game, like they were doing pretty good. I could say, like they were, they were like, I don't know, it's just like a regular season for them. They just wanted to play. Like no, they don't even sit on the bench for a long period of time. They don't sit. It's like when it's 5 minutes, they'll sit for 2 minutes and be back out ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they adjusted pretty
How
well.
is it trying to manage? Because as a referee, you're managing the game itself, but how have the coaches been in helping you to ensure that all the regulations are adhered to during a game?
I think they've actually been doing pretty good, like with informing spectators about wearing the mask during the game, like around the field and stuff like that, and they can't come to certain areas of the field. So I think they've been doing pretty good with that.
Amari, with you doing plenty of the senior games as well, how do you think the officials, when I say the officials, I'm talking about the coaching staffs and the managers of teams, have been working with you guys to ensure that all the rules are followed, both on and off the field?
I feel like they've been doing pretty good. It's like in the beginning there was a little couple hiccups because everybody was getting used to this stuff, but like over time it worked itself out and everyone just started to recognize the changes and follow them.
Yeah. How about you officials? Because obviously you're talking about what your protocols are and what you have to do before the game and all that. But obviously, 1 week you're working with one group of people, the next week you're working. Although you guys all train together, how has that actually worked out for you on a given day of a game?
I wouldn't say it was a change at all, to be honest. Well, because like in the beginning of the season, I was paired up with, let's say like Martin or Garrick, and I had them for like a rotation of games. And so we quickly learn like what they want and how their protocol goes for the games. And then I switched to like to Sean or maybe Francis. And then learning their protocols is essentially like the same, but they just had like one or two things that makes it their own pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Shaquille, you see these guys that are a little older than you, going through their paces and so forth. And how do you learn about officiating by watching some of these guys? What are some of the things you've picked up that they've done that you say to yourself, well, maybe I need to try and look to do that whilst I'm in a game or so?
Um, well, like watching officials in the middle, I see that they keep up with the
Mhm.
pace of the game, and linesmen. I watch how they hold the flags and how the keeping up with play, and like some of the hand movements that they do that can help me critique myself when I'm in a game.
Mhm. I know, Amari, when Victor and Rohan and Kalisha and these guys are here, you guys put through your paces at a little faster pace, because they demand a little more. Not saying that the local guys don't demand as much, but when when they're here and they're giving you these little tips, are you one that takes in information and works on your own after, to get up to more speed?
Yeah, and like when they give you the information, it's most of the time prior to games, so they would teach you the information in training and try and like stamp out like what you're not supposed to do, and then they have you do a game and make sure that what you heard you could put into practice in a game situation because training and games is two different things at the end of the day.
Right. Shaquille, what advice have you been given, maybe during a game that you then have to, in your mind, play out in the second half of a game to kind of make it a little easier? Because sometimes in the first half, or halftime, somebody will come to you and say, "Listen, you might need to try to do A, B, or C," and then you're conscious about it the second half. Have you had that ever?
Yeah, Mr. Williams, he gives me like that type of stuff. Like he tells me what I need to work on. So like um one Friday night in the game, I was kind of tired, so I was doing stuff laxy daisy. I went doing it at my fullest, and in that I was tired, he gave me advice on how to do it. Even though like I'm tired, I gotta just run a little faster, keep my pedal on my pay attention.
Mm. When you guys, I'm going to ask you both this because I think it's really important. Because just like players, we're all human. We have issues, we have problems, we have all sorts of things going on. How do you try to make sure that it doesn't creep into your game, especially if you got, say you don't, you're doing something and you don't really like school or you don't really like work, and you're kind of, it's got you down, but now you come to a game and you have to officiate a game. How do you try to separate the two to ensure that when you're on the line or when you're in the middle, you're giving your all to that task for the day? Now, Murray, you could answer that first.
Okay. I would say I try and like go into the game detached from what I went through prior to getting to the field of play. So like if I'm like in a bad mood, I try to like, force those emotions down and like bring myself up, and that puts me in a level-headed mind space during the game so that when players, spectators, or coaches would come to me and like come at me with like dissent, I could try and calm them down, let them that what I how I made the call is how I made the call, and they could go on about the game and better the team. So I mean, it's definitely difficult sometimes because not all days are the same. You go through ups and downs, but I try to keep it consistent and and it for the game pretty much. I try to keep it consistent.
What about you, Shaquille?
I yeah, like I said, just try to detach myself from anything that happened during the day. So like I'll come early before the game, just sit off in the referee's room and just listen to some music and just analyze the game that's going on. So my mind relaxed when it's my turn to run.
Mm, mm. All right, I think we're joined by another. Uh, Good evening, sir. How are you?
Evening, everything's good and yourself?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. Pull the camera down just a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Now we can see you. All is well?
Yes, all is good, all is
Good,
good.
good. Well, while we're here chatting about, officiating and so forth, but you want to talk, I want to ask you the same thing because after a hard day's work, you've got a game to go through or go to. The day might have not gone the way you wanted it to, and you're kind of moping around, and now I've got this game. How do you kind of, in your mind, push all that aside to officiate the game?
Um, hmm, Music helps me. So if everything's not going well before I get to the game, I'll put on my music and all the troubles are going for that period of time till after the fact, and I try not to mix my personal with the game.
Mm, mm, mm. What have Amari? What have you struggled with this season?
Uh, I would say fitness, like close to the beginning of the season, I struggled with the fitness because, you know, coming off of quarantine from like March and May, I wasn't really doing too much because the space that I have wasn't like allowing that, and making like runs in like 15 yards it gets repetitive and boring, so I lost interest. So basically, through the summer, with the help of like all the referees and trainers, helped me get my fitness back up to like game standard. And yeah, I've just been trying to be consistent with that so that in the event that we do go on a lockdown, I can have a better plan and have a better workout plan so that it doesn't happen again, pretty much.
Mm, mm. What about you, Shaquille? What have you struggled with thus far this season? You hear me, Shaquille?
Um, yeah, fitness. Coming off of quarantine, not really doing too much.
Yeah. What about you, brother?
Uh,
Sorry.
I was struggling with fitness
Okay.
off of quarantine, not being in school, so like I didn't have nothing.
Yeah. Clinton, what have you
I
struggled
was
with?
saying it's like just hard coming off quarantine.
Okay. Clinton.
Pretty much the same thing. Um, Trying to get back into what you have to do, meet the requirements, coming from being stuck in a house for like 3 months and then going back at it, just getting back in gear.
Right. You guys had the opportunity to get together on a regular basis once out of quarantine. I think you were together, what, twice a week, Sundays up at the BFA field. But getting back into the field, but not having any games, obviously it kind of makes it a little more difficult, doesn't it? Because you're just kind of training, doing back over the basic rules and signals, isn't it? Wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
But Omari, how did you find that? I
yeah.
mean, apart from the fitness part, that repetitive training can get kind of boring sometimes, can it?
Yeah. Um, well, pretty much like with the signals, you don't really forget those become muscle memory at points. So doing that, I wasn't really too fazed by that. But with the trainers, they made it interesting, and we had sessions at BFA and then also beach training.
Mm-hmm.
So it gave us a little bit of variety, and I feel like that helped keep everybody's interest in there.
Right. Shaquille, have you done any senior games on the line?
No, I haven't, not yet.
No. No. But obviously you've seen some of the senior games. What difference do you see in the senior games as opposed to the youth games that you referee?
Um, Pace is very different. Very fast, and like the game is a little more put together. Like the players move the ball, and the communication skills are a little bit better than youth now. Yeah.
Okay. And Clinton, obviously the pace is really a lot faster at the senior level, but looking at it, how do you think the teams have adjusted back to the game? We're some of them at 9 games in, but some really haven't gotten started. That's for you, Clinton.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
um. Well, by the looks of it, it seems that the senior teams was doing a lot of personal work over the break. I could be wrong, but I think it looked kind of the same as the previous seasons, the same style of play from different teams. Like Village like to use the center backs to play the ball over the top. That's nothing new. Um, PAC's new look, youngster look, is starting to look like it's a gelling now. So they look like a trouble team for other teams that have more senior players. Not really. It's not really too much different. There's some skills once you're born with. Some people are born with it, and some people have to try get it. So I mean, I don't see much difference from teams over the break and coming back. It was just the extended summer break, I guess you could look at it that way.
Yeah. Amari, the communication between the officials, has that gotten that much better this season? You hear me, Amari? All right. Well, Clinton, let me ask you: has the communication gotten better with the officials?
I would say so. Yes. It's not as click like certain clicks no more.
Hmm.
Everybody's trying to. It seems like everybody's trying to help out one another. Um, and I think we're doing a lot better now than previous years because everybody's willing to work together and help one another and share information that we need to share.
Yeah. When Shaquille, are you officiating games by yourself at the youth level, or do you have people with you?
On my Saturday games, I'm by myself, and on Friday nights, with a team.
How do you find working with that team?
Um, I think this is going good because at the beginning of the season, been working together right up until right now. So like at the beginning of the season, it was a little rough. Like whoever was in the middle, like it was hard because they couldn't like my side on the field now. So like I was making calls and they wouldn't be looking and like from after a half time they're just getting and oh that is later in the season. Well it's not later. They're starting to do it a little bit better.
Clinton, what is the strategy kind of half times for the teams that you've been with thus far? Obviously, some referees like to talk about incidents. Some referees like to hear from the officials. What has been the strategy for the teams that you've been with on Saturday nights and Sundays?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
What has been the communication between the teams that you've been with? I'm talking about the officiating teams, like halftime during games.
Right.
Because sometimes some referees like to talk about things that have happened or allow the referee assistants to talk a lot. What has the teams been like for you this season?
Well, every team I'm been with, before the game, we let each other know, if we're falling behind or something don't look right halftime, we have a talk about it and to try correct it for the second half, and also after the game, so that the next game we better ourselves at what we're doing. So it's been so far every game has been 100%. Everybody's been asking for halftime feedback and full time feedback as well.
How about the training sessions? I know you guys get together Tuesdays and Thursdays, I believe, at the stadium. But that communication about what troubles you had on Sunday, and somebody else probably had the same thing.
Yeah, we take the last hour of training sessions, and talk about inquiries we have over our weekend games and what better way can we go at that situation if we had trouble on the weekend. Yeah, I think we do that every hour, the last hour of every training, or about the Tuesday training.
Okay. All right. Well, I do want to thank you guys very much for your time. Hopefully, we get an update on what's going to happen this coming weekend, if or not football will be played, but we await that from the association. But I want to wish you guys well for the remainder of the season, and we'll be back next week with another edition of Referee's Corner right here on IslandStats.com. Enjoy your night, gentlemen.
You as well.